Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to Two Toe Tags Metal Reviews. And today we're going to be reviewing the classic album from Gojira titled L'Enfant Sauvage. So, Vile has now heard this album for a week straight. He's been listening all week, as have I, because I love this album. But Vile, what are your thoughts after a week of listening?
Okay, just to get this out of the way, I made a mistake. Not really a mistake, but first impressions, I thought the album was translated to the Savage Children or Savage Child. It's actually the Wild Child. All right, so just wanted to get that out there, clear the air on that.
It's in reference to a movie of the same name.
Right. So with that out of the way, this album I really enjoyed it, but that's not without a few gripes. So maybe I'll get the gripes out of the way first. Okay, so gripe number one. On the first impressions, if you guys watched that, I mentioned that I wanted to pay more attention to the vocals because they kind of got a little bit overshadowed on my first listen. So I paid more attention to the vocals. And the gripe is that I didn't take anything away from it. It's not bad at all. There's nothing wrong with it. I find it okay, but I really tried to find something that shines about the vocals, and I really couldn't. It's a good vocal. It's not bland, it's not boring, there's diversity in it, but just nothing about it really screamed like, oh, I like that part, or I like that pitch, or I like that tone. It's very it just works, which is good enough for me. Okay, I was just hoping I would find something that I can go, yes, 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 yes. I want a reaction, and I didn't get it. So it's a little bit of a gripe there.
The thing with the vocals, at least I find with this album, and I guess maybe with this band, is that Joe's vocals, they really blend in, but not to a fault, I find. I think that his vocals mesh with the rest of the music really well, and it's one of really the only cases, at least I could think off the top of my head, where the vocals aren't really like kind of ahead of everything else. It's just part of the rest of the music, and it's all like one coherent thing.
Yeah, when you say, what did you say a second ago, it blends in or something like that? Mm-hmm. It kind of does, and if you take a song like Born in Winter, for example, the entire song instrumentally is brought down, his vocals are also brought down, and you get this atmosphere of an entire song that sounds different than everything else on the album. So yeah, it does work like that, and like I said, there's nothing wrong with it. I was just hoping for a highlight here or there that I can comment on, and I didn't find it. Another gripe that I had, and this is like a plus and a gripe kind of thing for me. For me, the guitars stole the show on this album for me. It was my most focused on thing. I was just so attracted to the guitaring on this album. But my gripe here is that there's no solos. And I feel like that's a missed opportunity. I like my solos. I don't think every band should be doing solos. I don't think every band has to do solos in every song. But one or two would have made a difference to me on this album. The fact that there was none kind of, I think, for me, hurt it a little bit. And there was definitely parts of songs that would have suited solos very well. But that doesn't mean they were bad. It doesn't mean that, they played bad or anything like that. As for gripes, that's pretty much it. There's a lot of things about this album that I like. A lot of songs went into my playlist, and I didn't skip anything. I liked the whole album. So if I can keep the floor, I'm just going to talk about a few things that I noticed that I liked. Most of them guitar related. So Pain is a master. We talked about the whistle sound in the first impressions. So I figured out what that was. That's just basically a harmonic using a whammy, like a whammy pedal or maybe a whammy bar. I still love it. I think it's a unique sound. I don't recall ever really hearing that kind of specific sound in a song before. So I really like that. Another thing I really liked is the tone in Born in Winter. So in that song, I was trying to figure out what kind of guitar he was using because it's definitely got that acoustic sound. It's got an acoustic tone, so there's definitely a piezo saddle pickup on there. But it could be a regular electric guitar with piezo saddle, or it could be an electric acoustic. Either way, the fact that they used that to get that electric acoustic sound, I thought was really cool and set it apart from the rest of the album. Love that.
The song's a really unique one for this album.
It is, and I mentioned that already. It kind of stands out because it's just atmospherically different. Mood-wise, it's different, right? There's a lot of tremolo picking, up and down picking on this album. Sometimes they do it just on a single string. Sometimes they're doing it on a chord. There's a good variety of riffage on this album, right? Every song's got a different style of riffing, which I find cool. It tells me that they're not just one-trick ponies. They have a repertoire of, styles that they like to play. One thing I noticed on a song that probably was one of my favorite songs, which is Mouth of Kala, or Kala, whatever. The snare has an echo on it that makes it sound like 3 shots when it's just one. And this is something I noticed halfway through the week, so I consider it a subtle thing because I didn't notice it the first bunch of times I listened to it. But yeah, it's not a reverb, which is similar to an echo. This is actually an echo effect, and they let it echo twice and then they cut it off. So he hits the snare, then you hear pop, pop. So it's pop, 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 pop. Pretty cool. Don't know if you ever noticed that before.
I don't think I have, so that's news to me. Yeah,
so that's cool. Little things, right? Little things I notice and I go, yes, that's creativity. That's what I want. I'm gonna tell you guys a small little story about something because Mouth of Kala is a song that makes me do the Bobby Boy. And Bobby Boy is something I got to explain. So Bobby Boy is basically this. I'm gonna look like an idiot doing it out of the blue, but it's basically this. When good music comes on, you got the stink face and you're bobbing your head and you're just grooving, right? That's Bobby Boy. That comes from, my friends coined that back a while ago, years ago, back in my weed smoking days. We'd get in a circle, doing our sessions, passing the Bobby around, joints named after Bob Marley, that's what we call them. But I would have my headphones on and I'd be just grooving to music and I'd be just doing my thing, right? And they'd be trying to pass me the joint and be like, hey, yo, Bobby Boy over here, Bobby Boy over here. So like, it's a stupid story, but that got coined as Bobby Boy and it just kind of stuck with me. You guys might have seen me doing it in reaction videos. I do it all the time. But Mouth of Kala is an instant trigger of Bobby Boy. As soon as that song starts, right away. It happens, I can't help it, it's just done. Last thing I'd like to mention before I keep hogging the floor is The Wild Healer, which is the interlude track. So interlude tracks are weird for me. I usually score them in the middle. This track grew on me so much. This track I find it mesmerizing, it's trance-inducing, it's soothing, it's calming. There's something about it that just warms me and I just want to listen to it and I just get lost in this world and it's just this, I don't know, this riff repeating over and over and over again with this rhythm happening in the background that kind of changes up here and there, but the focus of the song just sends me away somehow. Don't know. It's done so well. And it's one of those, it's very rare for me to not start skipping interludes throughout the week. Never once skipped this. Every time it came on, I looked forward to it and I was like, this is actually really fucking good. Now, I'm glad it was the length it was, because if it was any longer, it might have started becoming a bit of an issue, but it wasn't. So they fucking nailed it.
This album, I mean, there's a few things I want to talk about as well, obviously, of course. I think this album, and this band, but this album just has kind of everything. It's got really cool riffs that will make you Bobby Boy, as you will put it. Sick riffs, it's got some complexity to it, there's some droning that happens. Everything meshes together in like a kind of interesting mid to low range of, whatever sound. Mm-hmm. In terms of complexity, there's one thing that I really kind of never really noticed too much in depth, but I kind of looked into as I was listening over, the week, is in Liquid Fire, like, this band has a lot of polyrhythmic stuff in it. Mario's drumming has a lot of polyrhythms, like, on its own, and Liquid Fire is a good example of that. So you're hearing in the main groove, which is also like in the chorus, you're hearing the guitars chugging these 16th notes. Mario is playing a polyrhythm of 3-note groupings of 16th notes on his feet, but then also playing like a completely different rhythm on his hands. And it's funny because I wasn't sure like what exactly he was doing on his feet until I started listening, saying like, wait, what is he doing? So I looked into it and found that's what it was, and I thought that was amazing. And you see that in another song like Explosia, where he's got 8 notes on the hi-hat with a triplet figure on his feet. Like, you always see that 3 against 4 happening. Mm-hmm. And I love that. The title track is, like, for me, a perfect track. It's got a really cool atmosphere with the riffs and the vocals. Really heavy grooves, but also like not overly kind of crunching. The breakdown after that bass slide is phenomenal. It blows me away every time I hear it. And it's like just after the second verse, the song just goes just crazy. And I kind of feel that I can say the same things really about Born in Winter. I think that's another song that just is beautiful, it goes crazy, and it also has a complete kind of tonal shift from the rest of the album. That song gives me goosebumps every single time.
It's because of that pickup saddle they use, man.
Yeah, like it does. It's so good. The Gift of Guilt is also another song that, you know, back when this album was really growing on me, I never really kind of realized how good that song was, but it actually is just amazing. I think that song is like just a big trip on its own.
Yeah.
Just the way that different sections feel so different. You have a lot more of an emotional chorus, but then you also got like really pounding riffs as well.
Yeah.
Like I think this album kind of has everything in it. Almost the entire album is in my playlist.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
So with that being said, let's rate the album. I pretty much just said it already. It gets my toe tag. It's one of my all-time favorite albums, and I chose this album for a reason. To show to Vile. Amazing album. I love it.
Cool.
So
I'm not surprised you gave it a toe tag because you did pick the album. Yeah, this album's solid, man. Highlight tracks, The Axe, the title track, The Gift of Guilt, Mouth of Kala are my highlight tracks. One of my favorite things about this album too is just how they ride their grooves out. They just let the metal play. Sometimes fade outs and all that stuff. I love that shit. It gets my toe tag. Well deserved. It's a phenomenal album. I'm glad you picked it. I'm glad I was exposed to it. I had a lot of fun listening to it throughout the week.
And I'm really glad you liked it. Really glad that you, I guess, will now check out this band a little bit more, because that's the point of this little series on our channel. Anyway, guys, 2 toe tags for Gojira. Awesome to see them on the list finally. And that's all we got for you today. So remember to like the video if you liked it. Comment, tell us in the comments below, what album should Vile check out next? There's a bunch of them and they're all super sick. So what do you think you should go next? We'd love to hear what you guys have to say. I'm TV Fish.
And I'm Vile Self.
And we'll see you guys next time.